The Antichrist, the Beast, Part 1, Revelation 12, 3, 9. So, what is the beast of Revelation? And what does it actually represent? How does the beast fit in with the prophecies of the end time? Let's try to unpack that a bit. In it says there appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world and was cast out into the earth. This event is a foretold ancient prophecy written about in Isaiah and Ezekiel, describing Lucifer's beginning. These 7 heads of the dragon are known to some theological scholars who are educated in scriptural prophecies as 7 major events throughout world history, which are represented with crowns as a sign of significance over mankind. 1 Timothy 4:1, Ephesians 4:14, Genesis 6:17. The first major event or first head of the dragon began with Adam and Eve and all their generations deceived by the serpent and his nature, tossing them to and fro as a sign of his power. Eve, being amazed of a creature speaking in her language, was easily deceived and unaware of who it really was. The people in the beginning were called antediluvians, for they had become so evil that God said, Behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. As Noah's family began to increase years after the flood, around about 2300 BC, Cush begat Nimrod, and a great legion arose called the Chaldeans from the land of Ur. It was from Cush's genealogy that the pagan empire arose as they departed from following the one true God I Am. Genesis 17:20, Genesis 19:37, 2 Kings 23:4-5. The pagan capital was known as Babylon, where they worshipped nature in reverence of their sun god, moon god, planets, and all the host of heaven and trees. It was not until 1900 BC that Abraham settled in Hebron and followed I Am's traditions, known as the one and only true religion. From the beginning of time, all genealogies were raised by the forefathers. Then came the 12 prince tribes of Arab nations, and then the Moabites, etc. When paganism was reborn, they had adopted the traditions of the one and only true religion, which was known as Hebraism. The two religions slowly began to separate due to conflicts, and so the king Josiah commanded Hilkiah the high priest to bring forth out of the temple of the Lord all the vessels that were made for Baal, and for the groves, and for all of the host in heaven, and he burned them without Jerusalem in the fields of Kidron. And he put down the idolatrous priest who had burned incense in the high places of Judah and Jerusalem, and them also that burned incense to Baal, to the sun and the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven. This was Satan's first major event over mankind, marking them with an antediluvian state of mind. 2 Kings 23:4-5. The second major event, or second head or crown of the dragon. The second event began when the dragon transferred its power after being destroyed by the flood, and paganism slowly began gaining influence over the world again. Scriptural evidence proves that pagans resided with the Jews in the temple of the Lord, worshipping Baal and nature in the early centuries, until they were casted out of Jerusalem and were separated from the one and only true religion. Daniel's 7:3. Revelation 17:15, Daniel 7:17-4, Revelation 17:9, Jeremiah 50:43-44. The first pagan kingdom was established by Nimrod. The second pagan kingdom was established in 606 BC when Nebuchadnezzar defeated Necho and Assyria, then took Palestine from Egypt and ascended as Babylonian king. Daniel was also taken captive as a teenager during this raid and later prophesied to Nebuchadnezzar. When Daniel was older, Daniel saw a vision of 4 great beasts coming out of the sea. In it declares that the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So these great beasts which are 4 kings which shall arise out of the earth. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. Here the lion represents the first beast that was given power by Satan. In all actuality, this lion is the second crowned head of the dragon or mountain after those of the antediluvians. Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon, who came up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. Daniel 7:5. Archaeologists have discovered an engraved stone underneath years of rubble of a lion with wings. This symbol represents the Babylonian flag. This engraved stone artifact is now located in a British museum for display as a token of historical record. The third major event, or third head or crown of the dragon, behold, The second beast is like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. The 3 ribs in the bear's mouth were provinces, Lydia, Babylon, and Egypt, which were destroyed by Persia's king Cyrus. In 507 BC, Daniel had prophesied the fall of Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. In 550 BC, 20 years later, King Cyrus, leader of the Persian army, gained control of the Median Empire. In 546 BC, Cyrus conquered Lydia, then finally in 538 BC, Babylon was overthrown by him. Persia was now known as the second beast, who overthrew Babylon and now dominated the world's power. In 705 BC, it was Isaiah who prophesied that Cyrus would free the Jewish exiles from Babylon and would allow the Jews to return home. Satan's power had shifted again for the 3rd time. First from the antediluvians, then to Babylon, and now to the Persians, representing its 3rd crown.